How's it going, everyone? This is Iman with Dune Serpents. Today I'm just holding my phone. We're going to be doing a build update. Just going to try to get through everything as much as I can because there's huge updates coming to this build. I got the truck right behind me. As you can see, the front end is off. It's literally right here on the ground. Doing a lot of work to that. I'm kind of just like going through weak points on the plastic. I'm redoing the front end, trying to come up with new supports and things like that for weak points that I've just seen, because I've had the time to really send the truck, and you know, it's been years now that I've had this truck, so I'm really able to dial down those weak points and come up with solutions. There'll be a video on me doing like a front end support breakdown coming probably in August or September, so stay tuned for that, because I'm waiting for a bunch of things to come in. And as you can see, I'm getting new headlights. I'm about to take those off. I'm getting the same Alpha Rex Pro Nova series, but I'm going to get them the new updated version with the cool DRL rather than all the way around. I really like the ones on my truck, but it's time for a change. They've gotten a little old, and they're having some issues with the wiring because it's been a long time. And I do send this truck like crazy. I know these headlights probably weren't meant to be jumped in the air and stuff like that, but honestly, 4 years held up really well. But now the DRLs are having some issues, so I'm changing those out. And then let's get into the big stuff. All right. So, yes, I'm just going to get straight to the point. Everyone's talking about the engine swap. As I've mentioned before in my other videos, I will be doing an engine swap on here, some sort of an LS variant, maybe LSX, new transmission, but I'm going to wait until I'm completely done with this suspension build and until this motor dies. I'm still trying to get my money's worth because I have no issues with this motor, especially with the regear. It's fine. So once the motor is done, I'm going to be doing that because it can range anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 to put a motor like that in here, and especially have it, built for this truck. I got to get a race motor. I got to do new motor mounts, a new dash, new transmission. Like, I want it to be good. I don't want it to be just like an engine swap. I want it to be like an OEM engine swap, as if like when you go in the truck, you're like, oh, there's an LSX in here. So that's expensive. But that's going to be later down the line once this motor dies. So stay tuned for that. It will happen. As far as suspension goes, I'm putting the front bumps in here from Fox 2.0s to match the rear. Biggest thing coming to the front to change it is going to be three things. First things first, actually four things. I'm putting a portal from 74 weld up here. So pay attention if you guys are thinking about this and you have long travel. I have a full floating rear end. So it's a trophy truck rear end pretty much. You can't put full floaters on there, the hubs, the portals from 74 weld, because it's already a full floating rear end. So when you look at all-wheel drive pre-runners and trophy trucks, you'll notice on the front, they have portals for clearance, because the four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, you lose a lot of clearance. So I'm going to be putting portals up here because my suspension cycling for a four-wheel drive truck and for this size is perfect. Like for a mid-size truck, I don't need any more travel. I definitely need more clearance, I've learned. So I want to get those portals. The tricky thing is matching the gear ratio, because you're not having portals in the back. So it's a 529, and the front we have to go like a 430, I believe. I forgot what the exact number was, but it's like a 188 gear reduction. So we got to match the gear as it goes to the portal to match a 529 revolution in the rear. That way it all flows. But once we get the right gear ratio, the front will have portals. It'll be a little squatted. I wouldn't think anything crazy. I'll up it to 35s front and rear, and it'll be a truck with a lot of clearance. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be changing the wheels in the front, same wheel color, but when you get portals, you got to change your offset. I want the front, obviously, is going to be a lot wider. It's going to be 7.5 inches wider or 7 inches wider over stock with the 3.5 long travel kit and the portal, because the portal comes out another 3.5 inches. So it's going to be really wide, and I have a negative 12 in the front. I'll start with that, but they were saying how it's just like too wide appearance wise and performance, because when you're sticking out like that, everything's just exposed from the portal and everything. The wheel is exposing everything. So I want it to kind of be tucked in within the wheel. So I might go to a positive offset in the front, leave the rear alone. So I'll end up having like 5 spares for the rear, and then I'll get a set of 3 for the front. That way I have 1 spare for the front. But maybe since I'll have 5 for the rear, I might make 2 of them paddle tires, just because I ever go somewhere that needs it, it's better than just having 5 random spare wheels and tires. I don't really need that, and I can't just sell a random set of 2, if that makes sense, because I'm keeping the other 3, so no one's gonna buy that. So yeah, we'll always get into that later. That doesn't really matter, the portals, so that's gonna be fun. Really looking forward to that, especially with the suspension. I feel like with the portals and the cycling and tuning that I have, this thing's gonna perform so good. Like, I'm gonna have that clearance, it's gonna cycle, it's just gonna be perfect for a Toyota Tacoma. So there's a lot of long travel kits out there, but you know, you really only get that travel when you have 2-wheel drive. A lot of people have told me to go like Solo Motorsports, and I've talked to them and stuff, but when you have 4-wheel drive, you're very limited. So I think with the Dirt King setup and the portals for a mid-size truck, this is it. Like, this is good. I'm going to be going with a company called Mitch Made Inc. I don't really need to, but they have, like, as you can see, my coil buckets they're braced in from the Dirt King shock tower shear kit. I forgot what it was called, but everything's pretty sturdy up here. You see my coil is starting to go in. It keeps going in. It just doesn't have the support. I want to do an engine cage, but Mitch Made Inc. made a like race kind of coil and bypass mount to weld onto the frame, and it just looks 10 times stronger than this. So I kind of want to go with that before I do the engine cage. That way it's even stronger up front. It just looks way better. It's gonna be cleaner. But yeah, it's gonna be like a race style coil bucket mount, which it's gonna be thick. So I'm really looking forward to that, going over the flimsy coil buckets. They haven't failed me. They're good. They're Toyota, but you know, you never know. It's good. Better be safe than sorry. And this is a build project, so I want everything to be overkill. On the lowers, I'm definitely going to be going with the JD Fab lower pivot kit, because that thing is just thin, and it's getting to the point now. It's still fine, no problems, but it's getting to the point now where when I'm like torquing everything to spec, like I'm starting to see the metal move as I'm torquing it. It's just too thin. So I definitely want to change that as well to beef it up, because a lot of my buddies have it, and you know, it looks great. Their trucks are performing good, and you know, just that extra security. Because you know me, I don't hold back, especially at my off-road meets. There's a lot of hype and stuff. I end up sending this truck beyond what it can do, and it does it, but I want to make sure everything's overkill so I can keep doing that. So just brace everything, gusset everything, plate everything, you know. And then for the front as well, the biggest thing as well, besides the portals, the coil bucket mount, and the JD Fab lowers, I'm going to be doing a swing set steering from Full Flame Fabrication. All these price breakdowns are in another video I'm posting before this, so if you want to get like a price breakdown and everything, and the truck in general, make sure to check out that video before. But yeah, so I have the Tundra steering rack right now. I have RC Fab tie rods. Nothing against the tie rods here, nothing against who I bought the Tundra rack from, but to me, I honestly think it was not worth it. Like, it works, but it's whatever. Like, I don't notice a crazy change. It can take it, if that makes sense. Like, when I'm steering, it's definitely able to take a beating, and like I'm not out of alignment as much, but it doesn't feel good. Like, the steering feels horrific. So I want to just go with a swing set steering kit, and it's just gonna be way stronger because Full Flame Fab made this whole kit, and it looks beautiful with a hoe pump. Like, it's gonna be a beast. So this is all going to take time because I got to save for it, and it's a lot of work to do that. But this, like, it'll be such a beast up front. Now, doing all that work in the front, we got to kind of take care of the rear. I already have the rear end. Like, I got the bypass spring under. That's perfect. To kind of just help a little bit, match everything up. The only thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to switch from a 16-inch bypass to an 18-inch bypass. Still 3.0, because I found 3.0 is like perfect for this midsize truck. What that's going to do is just going to give me a little bit more down travel. I already have 2 inches of up travel with the C-notch that I have in the frame, so the up travel is perfect. I just want to get a little bit more down travel. So because with the Dirt King rear end housing that I put on, I lost about like an inch. So I used to be at 17 3/4 inches of travel, and now I'm at like 16 3/4 or just 17. But I want to switch to an 18-inch because I'm going to have to rebuild the shock anyways. I'm just going to sell these. Go to an 18-inch Fox 3-tube bypass, and I'm also going to take apart the springs, sand them down, grease them, paint, like everything. That way they're nice and lubed up, to say the least, to prevent that much noise and corrosion and squeaking. But I'm also going to put these plastic shims between each layer of the spring. It's a little trick not many people know about, but it helps prevent against a lot of friction. Apparently it gives you like a little bit more ride height, like maybe an inch, but it just beefs up the spring package in the rear. So I'm going to be doing that just so the springs are like, you know, redone, new and strong. So we'll get into that later on. I'm going to film all of this when I'm doing it. So, you know, stay tuned for each piece of the project. But yeah, once I do that, new bypasses in the rear, I'm going to try to tie in the cage somehow to the rear frame. I haven't done it yet because I still take the bed off here and there to check on things. So I want to make sure before I weld everything that everything's good to go, because like, you know, and then it's welded on. So going to be doing that. I'm trying to think. Let's take a look at my notebook really quick. I have a notebook with all of my mods to help me keep track of everything if you guys want to stop. This is my terrible handwriting. Please ignore. I just wrote this super fast. But as you can see, we pretty much went over everything. The cage is like the last thing along with the engine swap. I'm definitely going to try to do an engine cage first, but and tie it into like an interior cage. But dual tire carrier. If I get the portals, and I'm going to have different offset wheels and all that, I'm going to end up needing one separate wheel spare for the front and then a separate wheel spare for the rear. So I'm going to have 2 wheels and tires back there. And let's go around. I want to keep my tailgate. A lot of people are telling me to drop the tailgate, but I love the tailgate. So I got to figure a way to have my cooler, my toolbox, and then have 2 spare wheels and tires. We can make it work. It's going to look kind of interesting, but I want to be able to close that tailgate. Louis should be able to figure that out because he has kind of a similar setup in his bed already with his tailgate. And yeah, other than that, chassis is all good. We went down, you know, sanded any rust, painted it over, greased over, WD-40, cavity wax, you name it. There's no rust on this truck. Chassis seems healthy. There's no bends in the rear. The front is slightly bending in a little bit from all the force, but that's with the bumper off. With the bumper on, the chassis is in its OEM original location. So to say the least, with all the off-roading that I've done, the chassis is not bent whatsoever from front to rear. So that's really good. All right, so I didn't really think it would work, but to show you how much stress the shock towers have without an engine cage, when the shocks are at full compression, obviously, not full compression, my bad, just at ride height, sitting with the pressure on the shock towers, my chassis without a bumper, so it's also good to have a good strong front bumper. My chassis was caving in, so the bolt-on bumper was not lining up. I lifted the car all the way up, and now the suspension's at full droop, relief stress off the shock towers, opening the chassis up. So the front bumper obviously keeps the front end of the chassis tight, but that engine cage is going to be very crucial if you're building a long travel kit in the front, especially with bypass shocks, the bypass hoops. A lot of stress on the chassis, but now that I have this jacked up, my chassis literally in front of my eyes opened up, and now I should be able to get it on just like that. That's why I definitely want to do that engine cage and tie everything in before something bad happens, because you never know. That way I'll be safe, better safe than sorry. So while it's in this condition, I'm not off-roading it as much because I want to complete this project. That way I can off-road and keep posting videos without having to worry about the stress of the chassis bending or coil buckets bending, all these weak points, front end falling off. So stay tuned. It's my little brother. He just pulled in from the gym. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be it for this video. This is just an update. Like I said, before this video, I should have already posted a cost breakdown for where the truck is right now and with what I'm going to be spending with all of these parts as well, if you want to see that. And then going forward, I'm going to do a front end rebuild video to kind of help with tips for upfront. Support on the Toyota Tacomas, and this also applies to like any truck that you want to build, so you can just watch it too even if you don't have a Tacoma. And yeah, just stay tuned, subscribe to my YouTube. It means a lot. I'm trying to grow the page so I can keep posting these videos, and make sure to check me out on Instagram too if you want to see more footage of this hitting whoops constantly. I'm definitely really active on Instagram as well. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and take care.